Looks like I'm going to spend a couple of more nights on this April 7th, 1962 Billboard Hot 100. There's so many Lost 45s I want to get to on this Hot 100, and this is one of them, an instrumental, a Lost 45. You seldom hear this anymore. As a matter of fact, I don't even think the 50s on 5, XM's 50s on 5 play this. Bobby Gregg and his friends with a jam at number 44, up 12 from 56, week of April 7th, 1962. Bobby Gregg, a drummer and also a record producer, known for playing hit records by Bob Dylan, on just records by Bob Dylan, period. He also played on The Sounds of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel. I'll get into that in just a minute. But he first got noticed. Bobby Gregg first got noticed back in 1955. He was the only white guy who played in this. It was an African-American group. It's called Steve Gibson and the Red Caps, 1955. By 1962, he fronted his own band. Bobby Gregg and his friends had the Jam Part 1 and the Jam Part 2. It was an A and B side, conveniently done that way. Went to number 29 on Billboard's Hot 100, number 14 R&B. Later on, 3 years later, here comes Bob Gregg again, playing drums on Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. Remember how that song opened with that snare drum that went and then the guitars kicked in? That was Bobby Gregg. That was him on that snare drum. Played on various Bob Dylan records, including Positively Fifth Street. That was a big hit for Bob Dylan. Remember that from the fall of 1965. He also played on The Sounds of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel. Simon and Garfunkel's Sound of Silence started out as an acoustic record. It was off an album called Wednesday Morning 3 a.m. It was put out in 1964 by Simon and Garfunkel. Wasn't doing anything. But Tom Wilson, who produced Like a Rolling Stone, he redid The Sounds of Silence. You won't believe what he did. A record producer at Columbia Records. He will electrify The Sound of Silence like he electrified Like a Rolling Stone, making rock and roll versions of folk songs. The Sounds of Silence, Tom Wilson brought in an all-electric band to play backup when he remade the record or when he remixed the record, including Bob Gregg, who played drums. There you have it. Went to number 1. Simon and Garfunkel didn't even know about it. They were not aware that the song had been remade. Legend has it they didn't know it was remade until they heard it on the radio. Well, back to 1962. Bobby Gregg and his friends with the Jam at number 44, Billboard's Hot 100 of April 7th, 1962.